Magic. Is it real or is it all just sleight of hand? Now, what I just did was an illusion, it was just a trick, but does real magic exist? I believe it does, and I'm going to explain why. So one of the most famous occultists in the world, Aleister Crowley, once stated that in order for magic to work, you have to let the public know what you're about to do. It's kind of like hypnosis. You can't just hypnotize random people. You have to let them know that you're about to hypnotize them. And today I want to talk about old school vintage magician posters. So back in the early 1900s, magicians became very popular. People such as Houdini, Thurston the Great, George the Master of Magic. You get the point. Back in the early 1900s, magicians were very popular. And the one thing I noticed that was very interesting about these magician posters is in all these vintage posters that magicians would use to advertise their shows, you see something very similar. I'm going to show you a few posters and I want you guys to tell me what you notice about these posters. So here is one poster by George the Master of Magic. Here's a poster by Houdini, one of the most famous magicians in the early 1900s. We all know who Houdini is. Here's a poster of Thurston the Great. What's the one thing that you guys notice about these posters? Well, when I look at these posters, the one thing that I notice is in all these posters, it shows weird-looking demonic entities helping these magicians do their tricks. Like in this poster of George the Supreme Master of Magic, it shows entities holding a pair of dice, holding a book, holding cards, helping this magician do his magic tricks. And then in a poster of Houdini, this old school poster called the Jailbreaker, Prison Cell, and Barrel Mystery, again it shows bizarre looking devilish demonic entities helping Houdini do his tricks. And this is one of the most obvious ones. This is Thurston the Great. This is Thurston the Great Magician. He has a bunch of posters like this. In all his posters, again, it shows these same demonic looking devilish gremlin entities helping Thurston do his tricks. Like in one poster, it shows demonic entities whispering into his ear, possibly telling him what to do, helping him with things like levitation, holding dice, holding cards. And one similarity also in all these posters from these different magicians is it always shows this devilish demonic entities whispering into their ear. So with all this in mind, I want to talk about another thing Aleister Crowley once mentioned. He said that with the help of spirits, demons, they can help you become basically superhuman. They can turn you into a musical genius. With the help of spirits, you can become a great magician. With the help of spirits, you can do things the human body can't do naturally. And with this in mind, I want to talk about a mysterious showman by the name of Myron Dajo. Meet Myron Dajo, the human pincushion. Watch footage of Myron Dajo getting run through with swords and discover how he performed this act that baffled both doctors and audiences. During the late 1940s, a performance group known as Trinity caused something of a local sensation in Switzerland. The trio consisted of hypnosist Heilig Otter, assistant John de Groot, and the main attraction Myron Dajo, the human pincushion. During each performance, a spellbound audience would watch as de Groot slowly shoved a real sword straight through Dajo's abdomen. The feat was accomplished without shedding a single drop of blood. Despite the fact that the blade quite clearly had gone straight through him, Dajo would then stroll around the stage with the sword still stuck through him, apparently completely unaffected. Later, he started to perform on stage and let his assistants impale his hypnotized body with swords. People and scientists were astonished to see the weapons were penetrating his body, missing major organs somehow. He walked and even ran with swords sticking out of him, and all this took place with little or no bloodshed, even when the implement was removed. To offer evidence that he was not faking, Myron Dajo asked to test his superhuman abilities. Doctors looked at his x-ray scans and confirmed that the sword passed right through his body. When the sword was removed, he pressed on the entrance and exit wounds for a short time, and that was all he apparently needed to do to prevent any bleeding after the sword was removed. He even demonstrated that he could walk and jog both when the sword was in him and almost right away after the sword was removed as well. Myron Dajo also declared his invulnerability has been tested with burning irons, boiling water, and he also claimed that he was shot through the head from half a yard distance on 2 occasions. He supported this by exhibiting 2 scars, allegedly from the shot, one in the center of the forehead and the other above his right eye. According to Myron Dajo, his invulnerability was a gift from God, who wanted to tell people they should abandon the materialistic world and accept that there was a higher force. He claimed to have heard voices from guardian angels that told him what to do. Dajo also said that he had several strange paranormal experiences as a young boy, and he was telepathic and could heal people. Myron Dajo was an extraordinary person, but eventually everything must come to an end. In May 1948, following the advice of his angels, Myron Dajo swallowed a very large steel needles. He had it surgically removed 2 days later and fell into a trance. And this is an x-ray of him swallowing the needle, so this is what caused him to die. Just 3 days later, the trance was discovered to be death, and the case of Myron Dajo, age 36, was closed. The cause of death was a ruptured aorta, though many of his followers deny that. Basically, it ruptured one of his main organs. Today, we still cannot comprehend and explain how Dajo was able to pierce his body without getting injured. How can Myron Dajo develop this amazing ability to withstand pain and physical trauma to his body? So again, back then, medical experts were astonished at how he was doing this. Even to this day, we can't really figure it out. But according to Myron Dajo himself, he said guardian angels were helping him perform these tricks. And that his final tricks, the voices, the guardian angels, told him to swallow a pin needle. And I guess this time, these angels left him hanging. So a little bit more about Myron Dajo. Apparently, he spent some time in India, and he was being taught by Indian mystics on how to do these superhuman abilities through the use of spirits. And he stated that guardian angels, or spirit guides, were helping him perform these tricks. Now, I believe these so-called guardian angels or spirit guides are actually demonic entities. I believe that a lot of these so-called magic tricks aren't just magic tricks, but real magic. And they did it with the help of entities. Like Aleister Crowley said, for magic to work, you have to let the audience know what you're about to do. And in a lot of these old school magician posters, as I presented, it shows weird demonic-like entities helping the magicians do the tricks. So maybe the magicians are telling you exactly how they're doing these crazy looking magic tricks, because maybe they're not magic tricks at all, but maybe real magic. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below, and we are out.